Ooby-doo, it's everyone's favorite boomer and vintage lens enthusiast. And here is yet another photo CD film transfer. This is a car show I went to in 1995, Lead East at the Parsippany Hilton. It's always on Labor Day weekend, so I know it was Labor Day weekend. Me and the old lady went there at the height of spectators. So there's a lot of crowds walking around, and you're going to see a lot of people. But you know, sometimes you just gotta, see and be seen, and that's what I did. And of course, this is a real photo CD, and I'm using a special software now, so I was able to pull out 24, 25 megapixel scans, and I happen to use the same batch of film. Say I use 4 rolls of film; they're all the same film. And I think that sometimes messes with the photo CD because they use this thing called a profile. Their scanner has a profile, and they put in Kodak film, Fuji film, or Agfa film, right? So I think I must have used 4 batches of Kodak film, and the conditions were cloudy bright. So it was very even shadows. There weren't any harsh highlights or dark sections because everything was evenly lit. Oh, and I remembered what camera I used. The Honeywell Pentax SP 500 with the 55 Takumar. And wow, look at that. Massive, huh? I was using the built-in light meter, and that's why the exposures are very consistent. If you look at all the pictures, the exposures are very consistent. See, very consistent. None look bright or dark or anything. This has a focusing screen and an aid, like a micro diaprism. But let's say I was using f8, right? Well then, in a lot of pictures, I might have set it to hyperfocal distance, because at affinity, you could get down to like 20 feet. Now, maybe I went to f11 and I got a little bit more. And if I focused, I was still getting the benefit of that depth of field. But, you know, that's the way it was. So, Lead East, it's a mob scene. I mean, there are tons of people there. And they had Elvis impersonators. And, well, it's back in 95. That was a big thing. And these cars, some of these cars I haven't seen because I've been to a lot of car shows since then, like this red coupe. What happens to them? Maybe they get sold to a different state, or you know, they just move out of the loop or something. But it was this is back in the heyday. They had like 4 parking lots full of cars. They had the main parking lot, then they had 2 overflow parking lots. I could have took probably 4 more rolls of film if I wanted to, but I did. So Kodak Photo CD was a fantastic format. It was way ahead of its time, and you're going to see in this slideshow how great they came out. Well, because I used some, actually I used a real camera. The Honeywell Pentax is a real camera, and their 50 millimeters are top notch. They're as good as anybody else's. They're as good as Canon. They're as good as Nikon, and you're going to see that the photos are they just look like photos. And I wish I remember what film I used. I think I used some 200 film and some 400 film. And if you look really closely, you could see the 400 film had some increased grain, but that was pretty much it. So why don't we just jump right into the slideshow, and you can check them out. Lead East Car Show, 1995, Parsippany Hilton. I think this might be the first one I went to. You know, as I was getting back into photography real serious, like photojournalism stuff. So I convinced the old lady to come with me. She was a home health aide, and all she wanted to do was work as much overtime as she could get. So I think it was like a Lead East is always 3 days, 4 days over a Labor Day weekend. So I think we went on Sunday. And man, it was packed because she worked in the morning. Then we drove down to Parsippany, walked around for a couple hours, and then she went back to work because she was hungry for money. Well, she was from Peru, and she had some kids back home she wanted to support and all that stuff. So good for her. Although we got divorced, I don't know, like 5 years after this happened, but that's a different story. Um, but look at these cars. Wow. This rivals digital cameras. There's no doubt about it. I was using a Pentax SP 500 with the 55 Takumar. And man, this thing was sweet. I bought it cheap, real cheap. You see, they used to have mom and pop camera stores. Every town had a mom and pop camera store. So I went in and they always have a used section. I think I paid like $150. And that was in 1995, remember. And whoever sold it to them ascribed their name on the back of the camera. So I tried to, bargain with them, say, oh, knock $10 off. It's got some guy's name on it. People think I stole it. I said, no, take it or leave it. So I took it. And, I took a lot of pictures with it. And then I got some more lenses, all used, because I was a pauper back then. But then I realized when I started buying new, I went through a new phase where everything had to be new. And then I went back to buying used again because everything was vintage by then. So look at these cars, low riders. Oh, this is a cool picture. I did this by accident. I didn't realize I had set the shutter speed, and they came out pretty cool. I should have done more, but one's enough, I guess. So, at the Lead East, you could cruise around the lots, even though there's crowds of people. People just stand there gawking at you while you're doing 5-mile-an-hour circuit. Yeah, and then you get to see cars from all different angles and juxtapositions. Like here, there's 3 cars in a row, 2 going this way, 1 going that way, and people standing around watching it. And then you get a car from a medium far away to close, and then they go leaving again. So it's really cool. I mean, if you're a gearhead and you like cars, and you want to hang out and waste an afternoon, this is the best place to do it. Luckily, it was only cloudy bright. Otherwise, it would have been brutal hot. And the illumination was completely even with no highlights or dark shadows. So it was really great. See, look at the crowds. There's crowds of people all over and cars driving by. I just can't get over how well this came out. This is stuff I have, I gotta say it again. Photo CDs cost like $100. In 1995, $100 is like a big deal. I was only taking home like $300 a week or something crazy like that. But I was paying my rent and all my other bills with it, So try to live on $300 a week now, though, huh? And I like the colors. Everything had like these colors. I've seen this guy recently, I think, at Elite East maybe last year or something. I don't know if it's the same guy driving because he looked like an old goat then. I often wonder what happens to these cars. I mean, say you're a mid-aged man, you're in your 40s, and then 30 years later in your 70s, you sell it to somebody, maybe someone from Cali buys it, and then it's out of the New Jersey circuit or something. Like this car. I don't think I've seen this car in any of the shows I went through, or I think this is not an American car. You still see these around. They're very rare. There are lots of these cars around. Look at the crowds. People just gawking at stuff, standing around. So now I go early just so I could do the cars. Plus I like to watch the cars roll in, right? So say the show starts at 9, you get there at 8, you can watch the cars roll in. Listen to that thunder, smell that unleaded exhaust. I mean that leaded exhaust. Ooh-wee, nasty stuff. And you gotta realize this goes on for 3 days. So it's 3 days. It's a mob scene like this. Of course, on the last day, a lot of people, that's by X on the right side of the screen there in her home health aide outfit. So on the last day, a lot of people leave early and there's a lot less cars. And actually, it's 4 days. So one day is just for the people who are part of the show. They get like a day without spectators. And then it's 2 days of maximum spectatorism. Now, this thing does not have autofocus. You got to shoot from the hip. You sort of got to plan together, plan early. And the cars are moving slow, so you could focus and then snap the shutter real quick. Like I said, the lighting was consistent. It was non-variable, so I didn't have to worry about, I always have to change the exposure. Once I had set the exposure, that was it. All I had to do was focus and click. Look, a guy's eating an ice cream cone. I mean, it's just, look, these people look like they're going to have a head on or something, but I guess they didn't. And there's just people milling around, walking up and down the strip. Oh, and they had something indoors too, I think. Oh, and they had DJs and food trucks. I've never seen this guy again. This vehicle, nope, never. This vehicle, nope, I don't think I've ever seen it. So that's why I like to go to car shows, because maybe you'll only see a car once. Oh, maybe someone's got this car and he painted it, but I don't know. I just don't think I've seen it again, I took a couple pictures of it from different angles because, it's a cool car. Or this thing, I've never seen this thing again. Yeah, look at that. Wow. Oh, that 55 millimeter was fantastic. This is like a unique paint job. This looks a one-off for that car too. And then, I've noticed that I see the same cars in a lot of shows, but there's always ones I haven't seen before. But then, when they're parked next to different vehicles, then you could always get the different juxtaposition of a yellow car with a blue car or something like that. But it's a time and a place. Here's the food trucks. I always take pictures of wheels and their hubcaps because, that's part of a car. I wish people would drive their car up on like a ramp, and then you could look underneath and see what they got underneath. Now, at the smaller shows, when the guys were hanging out with the cars, you could talk to them and ask them, how'd you come by this car? And everyone's got a story where, there's some guy in Iowa had in a barn, and I drove out there, or I had some guy go pick it up for me. And then they say, well, maybe I had to do this or that to it, And I can't believe the chrome. Even 30 years ago, they had cars with immaculate chrome. Wow. And it's just this thing. I could highly recommend it. You're in Jersey on Labor Day weekend, do the Lead East. Oh, it cost me $10. It cost me to get $10 to get in, and the old lady $10 to get in. And that was $20. And in 1995, that was sort of like a big deal. And now it's $20 a person to get in. So if you're going to bring a wife and kids, it's going to cost you big bucks. Lead East, Parsippany Hilton, 1995.